We're back with more games and a lot of death and destruction. Mostly I was the person who died. From time to time we killed the boss and advanced our character too. Let's see what we got here. Hey everyone, this is Thyworm and today I want to put Hellpoint on your radar, give you some first impressions and show some gameplay. Enjoying the video? Consider subscribing. Before we start, I want to thank the devs for providing me with a key, which is really appreciated, and you can find me streaming on twitch.tv/Thyworm. We'd love to see you there. Hellpoint can surely be described in a lot of ways, but it is a Souls-like game, heavily influenced by Dark Souls, following the same structure and the same gameplay loop. It is just an easy way to describe the game, so we get that one over with. Hellpoint is dark, literally and figuratively, very atmospheric, and I've enjoyed playing it quite a bit. Currently the counter is around 6 hours, so time for some first impressions. You are starting out as this vessel, not unlike the recently released Mortal Shell, and you are dropped into a massive space station, the Irid Novo. I'm sure it used to be a fancy place, but these days it's kind of a mess. When you look outside, a massive black hole looms on the horizon and it's already started devouring several celestial bodies. Inside the space station, you encounter a lot of creepy enemies, varying from small zombie-like creatures to massive towering guards that can kill you with a single thrust of their spear. You don't have a real clue about what happened. You learn you are created by the author, but you're unsure of who that is or what that is. The whole game is veiled in a shroud of mystery, and it is questionable to what extent you will figure out what is happening, especially in games like this where the emphasis lies on the lore and occult rather than on actual storytelling. One thing is for sure, it's not good. Gameplay wise, Hellpoint consists of exploration and combat. Games like these hardly ever come with a map, so you need to pay attention to your surroundings. The well-designed game world is full of little visual clues that lead to secret areas. You may find entire new sets of armor, new weapons, or a bunch of crafting materials. You can sneak past your enemies or take them on with full frontal attacks. How you traverse the levels is up to you and your playstyle. Combat is challenging but pretty fair. The game nicely builds up the tension and gets harder and harder over time without introducing massive difficulty spikes. You're going to die a lot, as is customary with these games, but you do get the opportunity to improve and learn the fights, and it really doesn't take very long to figure out enemy movements, attacks and combat patterns. I died a fair bit, but I always picked up a few cues, and so far I have been able to steadily progress through the game. I can't speak for the remainder of the game, and these are only first impressions, but the difficulty increased gradually and it felt all pretty good and reasonable. Along the way and after combat, you gather orbs that you can use to improve your character. The RPG element is significant here, with quite a few choices ranging from an agile, nimble fighting style to heavy clad with sword and board to using magical, supernatural powers to subdue your enemies. Choices matter. I invested heavily in strength, health and load so I could carry heavy armor and a massive scythe. That worked fairly well. I then found a gun which I wanted to use, but I couldn't because I basically lacked the agility to handle a gun. You can theoretically equip it, but it is extremely ineffective. It made me want to start over as well and trying these levels with a different build. It definitely adds to the replay value. I haven't found a way to respec as of now, but it might exist. During your travels, you come along these breaches, which act as bonfires, where you can perform upgrades, save your game, and you will respawn from these places. Depending on the position of the black hole I mentioned before, you can also increase the difficulty of the area you're in, spawning a bunch of demons. I was of the opinion the game is difficult enough already, but if you are an experienced player in this genre, which I'm really not, you may want to do this. The combat feels fluent as well. You can lock on characters and the locking system is decent enough, although with multiple enemies the camera has some issues positioning properly, especially in boss fights. With 2 or more bosses this can be an issue. You can also put yourself in some pretty bad spots rather easily by not taking the environment into account, and before you know it you're cornered by a bunch of enemies. That is completely on you, of course, and I didn't mind, but it is something to be mindful of. Should you require some help, you can join an online session. Apparently the whole game can be played in co-op even. I didn't try any multiplayer, but it sounds good. If you own the game and want to play some multiplayer, hop on my Discord, link down below, and we can try some multiplayer together. I would enjoy that. Hellpoint features crafting as well. You find these blueprints along the way and a bunch of crafting materials. You can break down items into components and use those to create new gear. It's pretty basic, but it's a nice addition. Next to crafting, you can improve existing weapons by imbuing them with special modifiers and other gadgets. All in all, there's a fair amount of customization next to your overall build and playstyle. What struck me the most, however, was the overall atmosphere of the game. I was really immersed into this space station and genuinely curious what the heck was going on. This game supports Dolby 5.1 surround sound, which I have over here, and it runs in 32:9 1440p at 60 frames per second, so I had a truly cinematic experience, and that really elevates a game like this. The sound department did a stellar job as well. Purely by listening to the surroundings, you can tell where enemies are, and it works every time. That is just excellent stuff. Ambient sounds and ominous music really complement the dark, gritty areas, and this feeling of dread takes a hold of you. I am by no means an expert on these masochistic games, and I can't play them for more than a few hours usually. But I feel that if you enjoy this game genre, Hellpoint is worth a shot. It's available for $30, which isn't cheap, but I think you could justify the price. If this is ever on sale, it is a pretty easy purchase, I would say. I hope you enjoyed the video, ladies and gents. Thanks for watching and making it to the end, and thanks so much guys for all the support. See you soon. Bye bye.